potential flex opportunity, but I really do love when teams gravitate towards this Viego pick. Really does feel like it does a lot, especially in terms of what it can do in your soul lanes and potential options it opens in the jungle role as well.
Yeah, but for JDG, honestly, Lee Sin and Gwen. Lee Sin is something that Kanavi has shown this split that he will just run amok on, and it gives a lot of agency back to JDG to say, cool, we got our AP, we got our AD, we don't have any pressure on Yagao to have to pick a certain style or have to pick a certain champion, and they're probably just going to lock in these two right here, right now. They get the Lee Sin locked and loaded, so they know they're going with that, and they're just going to wait to see what their second pick is.
Yeah, the Gwen is actually the one I'm less sure of for JDG. It's not a pick they've really loved this split, but going back to the Lee Sin, it's even something that Kanavi was a standout on last year. Kanavi wasn't only about, the Graves and the Kindred. Whenever he played as Lee Sin, it was phenomenal to watch. And JDG kind of stray away from that Gwen, not necessarily feeling like they need it, especially for the fact that they don't really play it up in top lane. 75% of the games they played it, they have put it into the jungle role, so instead going to go with the Varus. On the opposite side, we're going to see the Diana come out, so one of the things that this Viego does open, bringing out that AP jungler, and Gwen going to be in your soul lane. So Rogue Warriors really just tunneling into strong meta picks so far. I'd say very dive-focused composition that needs to be playing off flanks and playing on angles to get onto the backline, and we're going to see if JDG can find picks to dissuade that. Mr. Thomas Kench does fit the bill once he does hit that level 6 mark. Has not been something we've seen Zoom play all too much, though has played it once. And actually I was wrong. Zoom actually has played a lot of Gwen. I was thinking of earlier in the split, but still wanting to go with the Tahm Kench.
Yep, Tahm Kench locked and loaded. It's still technically a flex, can go into LvMao in the bot side. We have seen it a couple of times, even post-rework or post-reshuffle of abilities that they can take it. Not as good, in our opinion. Of course, would prefer it to see in the top side, excuse me, as we now see those bans going into the bot lane and mid lane of JDG and RA's second rotation, because for RW, you are very happy to just keep putting in bans into this mid lane, saying, look, we got ourselves 3 of the strongest skirmishing champions in the game right now, maybe bar Lee Sin, and this is a huge moment for them to be able to maybe put JDG to the sword here.
I don't even really know what JDG can look for in this matchup. You can't always try and default to something like Silas. You have gank set up, and we've seen it against Viego earlier on. There are some ults you're able to steal away that you do like, right? I think especially Diana's is quite nice, but not too much beyond that we've seen Yagao like to gravitate towards. This could always be a potential option for them. We have not seen Kanavi played in jungle just yet, but we have been seeing a fair bit more of Trundle in the support role as of late.
And boom, boom. Kalista and Sett locked and loaded here for the side of Rogue Warriors. They are happy to take that full engage. And this is awesome. I love this composition from Rogue Warriors. It is everyone go in on top of each other and just keep within a literal, punching distance of the enemy team, because they all want to go in, they all want to be right in your face, and they all want to continue that push forward.
And I would expect JDG to lock this one in, despite the fact that it really hasn't been something Yagao has been known for playing all too much, only playing it once so far this split, and it is a loss. You want something to try to keep Rogue Warriors at arm's reach from you, because they've very heavily tunneled into this dive composition. I feel like JDG's comp is a little bit more awkward. We're actually going to get the top lane Trundle coming out, it looks like, in the Tahm Kench in the support role. You do have some zoning coming out from things like Tahm Kench Pillar, Lee Sin Kick. You're going to have that eat coming out from LvMao at the level 6 mark. But I feel like you're putting all of your eggs into the LPC and Yagao basket with this one, which just doesn't feel all too reliable. On the opposite side, though, I actually really do like what Rogue Warriors have put together as well. Just heavy dive composition, I think, has a very straightforward identity in terms of what it wants to do. And they should be able to find the angles necessary to get on immobile backliners like Orianna and Varus.
Honestly, I think Rogue Warriors got themselves exactly what they wanted, and they're going to feel pretty damn comfortable in this game. There's going to be a lot of pressure now onto Kanavi to make things happen in this early game. Like I said, it's most likely going to be the Lee Sin onto him. He is the guy who has carried with it the most so far this season for JDG, and I don't know if they don't get that early aggression, if they don't get those early opportunities, I don't know how you come out of this for JDG. You just run out of options as you fall further and further behind.
I don't feel like JDG necessarily run out of options, just the formation's hard. Because you do have scaling, you have an Orianna, if they go on hit Varus as well, they're gonna have a consistent amount of DPS. The problem is that Rogue Warriors just have so many different flank angles they can play from. They can take front to back, they have mobility, they have ways to take you out of the fight with the Sett. There's a lot of options, so I don't want to count JDG out if it goes later on. I think it's just could be extremely rough for them to play, especially when you look at Rogue Warriors that every member on their side is a damage threat, right? Everyone has some sort of threat onto the front line or the back line of JDG, to where JDG's, I think, is a lot more formulaic of how you want to have a formation. You want to have, your tanks in front. You want to have your middle line with the Orianna, and you want to have your Varus as far away as possible. So vision is going to be crucial for the side of JDG.
All right, we are on to the Rift for our second and last series of the day. Both these teams ending their series. JDG want to try and end up on 8-8. Rogue Warriors looking to see how far can they go, how many wins can they rack up, how many Giants' heads can they put onto their mantelpiece. It's going to be just a dance-off in topside. You've, of course, got the troll dance. I heard someone say trolling. I heard someone say trolling the other day, and it really upset me.
But why? You guys, I mean, you're Irish. I'm American. Our English isn't the gold standard, I'd say, my friend.
I would agree with that, but I still think that trolling is not how to say it. It should be trolling, I don't know. I just think trolling just sounds like you're saying you have a trolley or something. Doesn't sound correct. I don't know. I'm being pedantic about something that literally makes absolutely no difference.
You are being pedantic, Penguin, but I'm giving you the space to do so. Just like how, in Game 1, we saw that Victory 5 gave LGD the space to do whatever they wanted. There we go. There's the tangent. We're back in it as we got action.
We're back in it. Here we go. Fights all going down. It's going to be one more auto attack, maybe two. You're going to need a Cho-Cho. Not going to be able to get out. They're going to flash aggressively onto him. Tongue Lash slows him down, and that's going to be a lot of damage. Not enough, though, to take him down, and the 2v2 goes the way of JDG. We didn't even actually get to talk about, but LPC is in for Loken in the JDG's final series of the season.
And LPC's only gotten to play one series so far this split. A lot of fans were questioning why he didn't get to see more play time as someone who, does have potential if you do give him more time and more games. Now able to pull out the 2v2 kill in the bottom lane against Betty and Cho-Cho. Cho-Cho going for the flash, pretty expected on the Sett level 1 to try to trade flashes, but JDG just don't budge. The Tahm Kench going straight on to Betty, and it's not even anything missing from either side. Just having more of those base sets that we talked about, and ZDZ actually zoomed. They're both gone.
I would love to get a replay of that one there. Gets a 1-for-1 trade. And that is a totally fine trade there for ZDZ because you are going in a 2v1. You are getting out with an advantage. And you can see the immediate teleport there from Zoom. And I actually think ZDZ can just walk back to lane. He has no reason to teleport because his wave is pushed up.
Ooh, the thing is, I don't think it quite got into tower. I think the reason why you might be skeptical on the teleport there is the repeat gank coming out from Kanavi, right? You teleport in, and then Lee Sin just wraps right around and you're dead. So could potentially be losing out on a little bit of CS, but doesn't look like it's going to mean too much. As Cho-Cho going for it once again.
Yeah, gonna go in onto LvMao, get a lot of his health bar down. You can see Kanavi, after that gank topside, did not have his blue on him, which means that Xiaohao knows that he can go for this invade very, very safely. Gonna actually help out his mid laner Yagao at pushing in this wave and maybe looking for something on the top side just to get a scuttle because he's lost his bot side jungle. He cannot fight against this Diana right now.
No, and oh my god, Rogue Warriors just want to keep going. They're going for the dive.
TP, going to be committed. There's going to be two TPs coming in now. Both mid laners coming out onto this bot side. We are going to see the Crescent Strike do land there onto Yagao, but he's going to actually have to go back. He has no real mana here, so actually more advantages here for Rogue Warriors at this early stage. It feels like JDG are trying to make stuff happen, but it seems a bit panicked.
I mean, I think it's really nice play coming out from Xiaohao, right? Leaving no real opportunities for Kanavi to go and find CS. The Gromp did just respawn for Kanavi to be able to steal away right now, but still Xiaohao with a pretty nice lead. And the fact that he's just, that they are splitting the map, right, is going to also leave LPC and LvMao in a really awkward position where they do have to respect under turret of potential dives being able to come out, but Rogue Warriors bottom lane is going to go with the reset, so no threat of that anymore. It looks like a lot of resets just coming off across the Rift. So for Rogue Warriors, this has been their bread and butter. It's been playing with their bottom lane. could be viewed in the same way we viewed, I think, the way WE played last year, in the sense where, you know, coming in when Elk, back then known as Jomung in Spring, I think really did struggle in lane. WE just tried to like pad that and push that up. It feels like this split, Fetty and Chocho, maybe not the best laners, maybe not the best like players relative to other players in their position, still able to facilitate a lot in terms of what champions they're willing to play, and Xiaohao can help prop that up with his carry potential.
Well, Xiaohao now sneaking himself into this bottom side. There is a ward in that far bush, so does not want to reveal himself just yet. It looks like he's just going to take the reset, get himself back out. Iron Spike Whip has been picked up for Kanavi, despite being set a little bit behind in the jungle farm camps. He is still equal on gold because of that early kill. So, not doing too badly on the Lee Sin, able to pick up some chickens as well. So, wait to see how these junglers do want to react, as level 6s are starting to be hit now by the solo laners. You can see it by ZDG and Forge. They'll have the Needlework and the Heartbreaker available to them. And of course for Zoom and Yagao, they should have theirs as well. But now Kanavi sitting around, they can set this one up with the Pillar of Ice. And that's where you have to be real careful of your ZDZ, because that Pillar of Ice cannot be mitigated by your W.
Especially the fact that, right, as Gwen, you don't take flash. So sure, you have your E, but if you're Eing away, no minion to hit to have that cooldown once again, and then you're in a position where JDG can find it. But Kanavi is utilizing a lot of time to try to find this one, not going to do it in the end, and ZDZ going to respect, not going to push up towards tower with the wave, instead just going to go for the reset coming out, and this should open a bot side Scuttlecrab for Rogue Warriors. Looks like Kanavi wants to pat down and potentially see if he can do something about it, but I think Xiaohao's going to get away before.
Ooh, shockwave for Heartbreaker there. You can nice buffer from Forge, as we do see a Hex Splash forward as they jump straight in with the Ignite onto LPC. But just the Ignite, not really going to get anything else out of that. And that's it's a bit of a waste of a summoner there from Rogue Warriors. A bit too trigger happy.
Yeah, not going to get a lot of value out of that one, and I think Chocho's continuously looking for this, because Betty does have that Noon Quiver in his inventory compared to 2 longswords in a tier 4 LPC. So understandable Chocho with wanting to continuously look for these all-ins. But now we finally got a bit of calm, Penguin. We finally see Xiaohao not looking for any opportunities, is going to go back to farming. Kanavi falling a bit behind. Seems like he also wants to cycle through his camps, is about a level down right now, which, you know, as Lee Sin, you typically do tend to look for more gank opportunities rather than trying to keep up and farm. But we're starting to see pinks come out towards the top side from Xiaohao.
Well, Xiaohao is going to get Zoom to jump straight in. The flash not quite up yet for Zoom. They knew the timing on it. They knew they had a window, and they take it beautifully. Nice kill there from Rogue Warriors, and they're going to have the pressure in this top side as well. And funny enough, ZDZ still hasn't used his teleport, so they can't even really look for a cross map on the side of JDG because he could answer.
And for Zoom as well, not having the TP, right? Gonna lose out so much in terms of gold in EXP. Right now, ZDZ with about a 400 gold lead on him. This should also be a Rift Herald for the side of Rogue Warriors. Looks like JDG want to concede, but Kanavi's still gonna stay around this side. Zoom is so slow on the base, and I think Chocho should be here first as well. This should be secured for Rogue Warriors.
Yep, should be pretty easy for them to lock and load this one, so they're going to have themselves a nice little steroid on a tower push, should they want to use it in any lane they choose. Zoom now finally getting himself up into the top side, but like you said, he has to play this one so carefully, because Needlework's already half done, so right now he's still at a disadvantage.
And that's a big thing, right? Because I feel like a lot of Trundle's strength comes out is, actually I'll hold on that point, as we see the pro view come out from Xiaohao with Gwen engaging. Does find a really nice moonfall. I mean, they just have so much burst between them that they're able to secure that kill, but right, Trundle, you typically think again about him, and he wants to either go against tanks, or I think also has a decent time against AD champions from your Q, like stealing away some AD and giving you more dueling power. But Gwen can just play off of her cooldowns. Doesn't matter if her autos aren't doing too much, because she can stack up that Q and get like a nice like 5 snip on you as well. When you do have the ult available, you're just doing so much. Will have pressure as we see here, but I don't think should really tangibly have kill pressure, barring that ZDZ does play this lane correctly. Right now is sitting on a pretty nice item spikes. Don't know if we've seen ZDZ back yet. Is more action in the bot lane.
Yeah, we're going to see them go back in on top of this maybe as they're going to get the heal out of LPC as we now see Kanavi in this bot side, but does he want to really be here? He has to get himself a kick away. The Tahm Kench goes in, flashes back out, Shockwave only lands onto one person, and it was the healthiest men of the side of Rogue Warriors. They get themselves another kill. Betty graciously taking that one into his back pocket, and now with the Rift Herald they can look just to try and take this one. You have got the Tahm Kench, the Heartbreaker resets LPC, nowhere left to go, and he will fall. More resets all the time. Forge now trying to see if he can get on top of Kanavi. There's the Moonfall. There's another kill. Rogue Warriors explode onto the Rift and take everything away from JDG.
I love the way you put that one. Explode really feels like the word for Rogue Warriors. Maybe it's not constant action, but when they are cycling through action every few minutes, it is extremely explosive. Big bursts of fighting, tons of kills coming out, as we're going to see here. Rogue Warriors were constantly forcing these kinds of trades to come out. Does find his way onto LPC, and with the ult coming out, they're able to throw him back in. But look, Forge is already here compared to Yagao, who had to wrap around, couldn't walk through river, would be too dangerous. And now you see LvMao just in a very awkward position after the Abyssal dive, where Forge is able to go out with the Heartbreaker. They're able to finish him off with more damage. They have the Rift Herald, like you said, and they can keep going forward. So Forge going to go in once again with the Abyssal dive, closes the gap to allow for the kill on LPC to come through.
And it feels like the massive miscommunication there by JDG. You can see Kanavi was on his way out as Tahm Kench goes in with the Abyssal Dive. So big mistake there. Leads to a 2,000 gold lead here for Rogue Warriors. Dragon's still yet to be taken. That bot lane turret's super low. And this is a great start, honestly, for the side of Rogue Warriors. They really are coming together. Again, obviously very sad to see them come together so late in the season, but a win here would do them absolutely wonders for just, you know, having morale going into the end of the split and working towards that 2022 season.
It would definitely feel nice, right? At least get to not end the day. You get to end the day happy going into a potential couple-month break, depending on when their practice schedule would start up once again. But Penguin, I feel like this is when we ask the viewers. You know, we don't have any sort of poll out there, but what type of series is this? Is this a 3-game, or can one of these teams pull off a 2-0? As JDG.
I mean, Kanavi gets behind Forge, but the Heartbreaker puts him back in. The Moonfall is there. Shockwave misses onto everybody. They're going to go in with the Showstopper and get the Dragon. Oh, my dear Lord. It's just all gone terribly wrong. Zoom in a lot of trouble. Will end up going down, but not just before you get the Kalista dropping as well. There is a Devour down onto Yagao. Forge does drop. Maybe Rogue Warriors went a little bit too deep. There's a 5v4, but they're still pushing. They're still prodding, still looking, but they will not get anything else. They'll get the Dragon, they'll get themselves a kill or two, but they will lose so much more off the back of it.
Big over chase coming out. Things look pretty good for RW starting that one off. The Showstopper was nice. You get a Dragon. Yagao's Shockwave completely flopping. But like you said, the fact that ZDZ is up in topside, doesn't have the teleport available, I feel like Rogue Warriors should just back off with the objective, happy about what they got. They are going to at least be able to answer more gold in topside. This turret's going to go down. They're already sitting on a few thousand gold lead, and that is going to hold up as we go into the replay. Kanavi started this one off with a kick onto Forge. Shockwave not hitting anyone as the ball was on Kanavi, it looked like, and they weren't really in sync. Showstopper goes in. They're able to get one kill. And I could understand how Rogue Warriors want to keep going forward here with how low Zoom is, but Betty just completely throws away his life. LvMao able to follow forward once again. And actually, probably at this point, you're in too deep. You're too committed. Even if you turn away now, you're actually just going to give room for LPC to turn on you and keep kiting you out with continuous damage. So Betty getting a little bit baited, getting a little bit overzealous, and really being the one to, going a little bit too deep.
Yeah, and honestly, you look at the fight, LPC was just untouched. He just literally was sitting on the backside. No one dealt with him as such, and that gave him 3 kills, gets him up to 4, 1, and 0. He's now very much relevant into this game. I will say a lot of gold went over to ZDZ on this Gwen. He has his Riftbreaker now. He is feeling very comfortable at going into Zoom in this matchup, and this is where the game gets a little bit interesting for Rogue Warriors. If they go a little bit too ham like that, they could end up losing out a lot more. You can see the pings going down. They know exactly where you are, Rogue Warriors. There's nothing really you're not gonna get sneaky on this one. And JDG doing very well to salvage what looked like a pretty poor situation around that dragon fight.
Yep, preying off Rogue Warrior's mistakes. I mean, another thing they could have potentially tried to do, I think it still might not have worked, is even just try to take the fight front to back, right? Try and just focus LPC, but for Rogue Warriors, could have just taken the small incremental gains. They do still have pressure on top side with how strong ZDZ is right now, so you would expect this Herald to go into the hands of Rogue Warriors. You can then try to turn that into a mid lane turret and then use pressure as, okay, you know, that's going to happen. Chains of Corruption means nothing when you are up against a Kalista. But for Rogue Warriors, try to turn this into like dropping a Herald mid, and then you use the open mid lane turret to start putting more pressure on that bot lane turret, which is almost gone already.
Yeah, you gotta try and see what you can do with this one now, as we do have top wave being pushed in quite a lot, as they know that JDG are focusing a lot of their resources into that bot side. So this is going to be the tower dropping in favor of JDG. They'll get themselves a nice little bit of local gold. But speaking of local gold, we are going to have the Rift Herald being dropped here. Yagao does know that something is a little bit up on that bot's or in the mid lane, so gonna get the charge off, but with no minion wave, they were a little bit early on it, I feel, as LvMao just gonna walk in very, very tanky on this Tahm Kench even this early on without any real items. And it feels like a little bit of a waste from Rogue Warriors. I felt like that was a bit of overzealous, thinking they could just get the charge and then take the turret afterwards.
I feel like the big problem was their bot lane had to head up sooner, right? Because as Rogue Warriors bot lane is Betty and Chocho, you can't just sit under your outer turret bot. So they were just kind of hovering closer to their inner turret and around jungle for a little bit before starting to move over, to where if you're there, you're right. I think you still probably wait for the wave, but then you could zone off the force from JDG that are coming through river and just turn on the turret or take the fight. So definitely think it was a bit of a mistake coming out from Betty and Chocho on the Rogue Warriors play.
We go back to a pretty stale game state. It's only been a 1,500 gold lead, so again, nothing crazy that JDG cannot get back. Of course, they got a lot of gold from that last exchange. I will say it's probably front-loaded onto LPC, who is a level ahead, 3 kills ahead, and is working well towards his mythic item after finishing up his Mana Mune. And this is where we look at the mythics as well. You've got the Riftmaker here for ZDZ. You have the Proto Belt here for Xiaohao, and the Divine Sunder, Divine Sunder for Forge. So not really weak right now from the side of Rogue Warriors, but they do need to pick and choose their fights a little bit more carefully.
I think Rogue Warriors are probably still at a pretty decent place in terms of item break points. We're going to see ZDZ not here. He does have teleport, but there's actually no wards behind the members of JDG at all in River. JDG doing a nice job of making sure that RW have no vision down with the amount of denial that they've been doing. Going to be able to turn into this Dragon Pit. And still, I don't feel like you really are going to have a great place as Gwen to come into this fight. So ZDZ just walking down. But JDG are going to have control over mid-wave with the fact that they have Orianna Varus. So easy just taking these waves down and poking you from afar. Yeah,
they've got so much wave control and burst damage onto these minions. That being said, though, the Crescent Strike does have a lot of its own, so Rogue Warrior is able to mitigate that damage. Look at the vision you have right here. So many flank wards, so many ways of knowing exactly where Rogue Warriors are coming at you from. But with ZDZ with this Riftmaker, you have to be a little bit careful. You got to respect the fact that he's coming in. Here we go. Showstopper goes in, flash forwards, gets the Face Breaker, and of course gets the Haymaker as they try and bring him back out with the Fate's Call. The Devourer has been used. Kanavi is dead. They trade that for Sett's life, but Betty is taking a lot of damage here. You can see the needlework doing work as now the resets are coming in for Forge. Now he's looking to get the kills. Now it looks like Rogue Warriors have finally woken up, and now Rogue Warriors will get absolutely everything again. They'll even take away all of the summoners from the side of JDG, and JDG routed in that team fight.
Another objective for the side of Rogue Warriors. They take the fight when they do have the formation. They have the numbers this time, remember. Last time, there was only 4 members for the side of Rogue Warriors, and they were forcing Sword for those kills, some missed target selection. Heck, they might be able to find it.
They didn't even use the Moonfall. He's dead, buried, no flash, no shockwave, nowhere to go, and that is going to be a delayed ace again for Rogue Warriors. They pick up 5 kills, and they only lose the 1.
Yeah, just Rogue Warriors being extremely decisive on pulling the trigger, and Kanavi, okay, he's fine. LvMao's here, LPC not too far behind. As JDG actually probably follow up on this one.
I mean, they can. They do not have the Dragon's Rage Strike just yet. Kanavi, though, he's in a lot of trouble, and now LvMao might have went a bit too far forward, a little too quickly. We are going to have the TP from Forge. Xiaohao almost goes down himself. Going to be able to smite the blue buff himself and get himself back up to a relatively decent HP. But again, an overextension here from JDG, and it feels like they're on panic buttons. They're not letting this fight stop. They even get the TP, but there's nothing there. No one's there.
And you're just running into where Rogue Warriors thrive. I think not only compositionally in terms of like a lot of these skirmishes being forced back to back on in terms of what item breakpoints you are relatively to them, but also just the way Rogue Warriors like to play as a team. And we're going to go into this, and this is why, man, no matter what you think of QiuQiu, I just love watching QiuQiu play because he always looks for the engages, goes in, able to be pulled out by Betty, and then Rogue Warriors turn onto the Dragon, they focus down Kanavi, and the needlework going through multiple members. We already saw, I think the Shockwave wasn't able to do too much, and then for Rogue Warriors, they're just able to keep chasing them down with the fact that they do have the Heartbreaker available for Forge to keep closing the distance.
Yeah, and this is why Viego is such a highly prized and highly sought after carry, is that you do get these resets and you get to utilize so many more abilities and so many more gap closers than you normally have with anyone else's kit, and it becomes a little bit more difficult to zoom. Ooh, he gets caught out by that. I think he's just dead regardless of how much HP he has.
Yeah, definitely. But Rogue Warriors, I think, doing a nice job of controlling Vision and River on topside right now. So, heck, they catch out anyone, they will just be dead on the side of JDG. They're trying to force these picks to come out, and ZWuJi does have TP, but still just going to keep pushing and moving on bot side. Doesn't have any 1v1 turret threat.
Oh,
Engage.
They go in. Moonfall does land, but the Devourer is right there, so LvMao losing his ult for an ult. I feel like you're totally fine with that for JDG, and Rogue Warriors, they're feeling a bit frisky. They're feeling it a little bit more than they probably might have had the right to, but they gain a summoner for a summoner, and they're not really going to be too upset with the result.
I think the idea from Rogue Warriors is right, just the setting of where you're going for it is kind of wrong, because okay, you push in topside, you got deep vision down, you've had ZDZ control bot wave. You have two options. You can either just start moving to mid and trying to use your presence to zone them off turret and chip down turret that way while they're answering sides, or you could do this one, which is the one I prefer, of moving to Baron, trying to pull them all up, and then finding your engage from the fact that CDC can move first. So we've now seen both ways tried. I feel like it's going to be the same set play for Rogue Warriors for the next like 20 or so seconds, unless they just want to wait for Dragon to spawn and just start moving their vision line down towards bottom.
If you're looking for a more perfect soul than an Infernal soul as for the side of Rogue Warriors, then you're not going to find it, because this is ideal for their team comp. Burst damage, jumping in, getting all those abilities off as quick as you possibly can, and just deleting health bars as much as they can. So actually curious to see where they go. I'm actually loving this from QiuQiu. He's actually gone with the Dead Man's Plate over his mythic item, as you can see there on the bottom scoreboard. I really do love this because he knows that the entire engage rests on him. He needs to be the one going in, getting the face breakers, and getting on top of these carries for the rest of Rogue Warriors to catch up onto. And it's worked for them. The couple of times we've seen the team fights go in Rogue Warriors' favor has been when the set has gotten the engage off.
It has. QiuQiu has been the one leading the force, and it looks like we are pretty close to having a team fight pretty soon, with both teams right now contesting for mid-wave once again. The nice thing for JDG is this is where their comp will continuously thrive, is being able to get this pushed in first, be able to move into river, be able to control vision, which is why Rogue Warriors right now are responding by keeping ZDZ bot, because it opens a place for you on the map where you can send members through, right? If Forge or QiuQiu had to go around and look for that angle, JDG now know that ZDZ could be here though, so respect coming out from both sides.
Yeah, respect coming out, but ZDC's already got that wave push. Look at the side waves. They're very much set up and nicely done there. We're going to go jump in straight away. That's the Devourer down and buried, but they stop the unburrowing from the Tahm Kench, and now Rogue Warriors can rip apart this JDG lineup. Zoom trying his very, very best, but there's just not a lot that he can do about it. 3 quick kills and the fight's over before you know it.
Yeah, Rogue Warriors are just so fast with finding these plays, and the setup is there, right? The set keeping people grouped up, clumped together for Xiaohao to bring in the damage. It also keeps people clumped up for the needlework, for the Heartbreaker to come out. There's a lot of synergy between these champions that if one of them can get going, it feels like it sets up for the others to find their windows to get their damage down.
Yeah, well, it's not September for Rogue Warriors, but they have got themselves some Earth, Wind, and Fire on their side for the Dragons. They're going to be going towards an Infernal Soul, and this is like the replay. And like you said, this is just great. QiuQiu runs forward, gets the 2 ultimates out of this, basically, and they haven't even fully committed yet.
And it's just, like, LPC committing the Chains of Corruption onto QiuQiu is a bit questionable. Keeps him, like, close to where they're able to follow up ZDZ coming in from the flank. Again, we see QiuQiu pull everyone close to set up for the Moonfall coming in, and then they're very easily able to follow up. And, again, that fight was so chaotic, but once again, not really seeing great shockwaves come out from Yagao in these plays.
Yeah, well, we are going to see Forge jumping straight in onto Yagao, who now has to back away. Kanavi going to be giving him a little bit of a safeguard. TP here from Zoom just to try and make this one work for them. They're going to flash in, get the knock back. Xiaohao, though, flashes himself and gets himself back into safety. Now the ice pillar dropped down. Zoom, though, not really the tankiest boy as of right now. Shockwave is good, only to take away the Sett, but the Trundle is dead now with the needlework doing its work. You can see ZDZ, he's hunting. He knows he's got this like a crazed psychopath with a pair of scissors as his choice to kill and dismember his victims. He's pushing forward. Snip, snip, snip. You can hear him running down the hall. There's no escape for LPC, or is there, as they are just about able to get underneath their turret as the rest of the fight does end up going back. JDG, like in most horror movies, are just going to try and run away from the absolute terror that Rogue Warriors are putting in front of them.
Yeah, Rogue Warriors completely dismantling them. And I mean, with the way all horror movies go, right, I guess there's going to be one survivor who gets out in the end. Right there was two, Yagao and LPC. Not quite sure who will be in the end of this one. My guess is Yagao, because LPC has been playing... He's been playing on the edge so far. Been far forward in quite a few team fights, but, you know, moving past all that nonsense, Rogue Warriors completely dismantling. 10k gold lead now. We see Forge find his way onto the Orianna. Rogue Warriors coming in it from 3 different angles, so it forces JDG back. But then with the TP coming out from Zoom, they have the confidence to take this fight. They actually do have a numbers advantage right here, but they don't have any way of sticking onto RW, which gives more time for members like Betty and ZDZ to get in the fight. We do finally see a shockwave come through, but I think it only hit QiuQiu, did, you know, kill him, but still, you're only taking away a Sett who's already used some of his key abilities. But ZDZ, he was the member who's so big right now. He's the member that if you look at the items, he actually has the biggest item difference with Zoom. So able to off-put so much damage in that team fight to make sure that Rogue Warriors come out ahead.
3 items. They even got the Oblivion Orb to boot as well. So ZDZ just feeling so confident moving forward onto this. And you can see Kanavi immediately safeguarding away from Forge. Knows that if he gets caught out, he is dead to rights. 2 minutes until that dragon spawns. You've got 2 minutes left on this Baron buff. This is just basically Rogue Warriors going to be taking away all this freestanding gold, pushing in these waves. But Zoom is going to respond to the bot side. He's got a full split push. Titanic Hydra and the Divine Sunderer. So he's got himself a nice little bit of attack damage to take down these turrets. And with, of course, the attack speed steroid he gets off of his Frozen Domain, it means he should melt these ones very, very quickly. So Baron buff or not, still good movements here from Zoom on the JDG side.
Is Zoom at least answering something on the opposite side of the map? This is typically what you would want to see, right? He's getting something, but Rogue Warriors can still just all in. As Shockwave already down.
Oh, I love it there. Kanavi was waiting to try and get the kick back, but a dash forward into the Moonfall means that you can't see everyone now pushing forward. LvMao gets his 80 carry just about out to safety. As the sequel to the previous horror movie might be continuing, as we can see now Forge going forward with the Heartbreaker, trying to jump onto Zoom. Zoom is a very, very big boy, so you gotta be very, very careful, but Betty now keeping the troll underneath his bridge. The base has been broken up. 50 seconds left now until that dragon spawns, and you still have some Baron buffs left. You can reset, get back out on the map, and JDG, I don't know what you gotta do right now. You wasted an awful lot in that last skirmish.
What world do we live in where Rogue Warriors are dismantling JDG faster and more decisively than LGD were able to take down Victory 5?
I don't know, man. The world where I have to make horror story and horror movie analogies to continue with this Gwen. But honestly, I gotta say, like, the Zoom 0, 6, and 5 is still having a fantastic oh no, LvMao. Oh no, LvMao. Where are you gonna go, buddy? Where are you gonna go? Back to the fountain as quick as you can. They put you on an express ticket all the way back. You can see Kanavi now using the Dragon's Rage. LPC forced to flash away as well, as Zoom and Yagao are caught between themselves and their base. They're on the wrong side of this. The Shockwave lands only on the ZDZ, but he is very healthy to keep fighting on these fights. He gets himself one more kill. Yagao trying to trade this one back. Will flash away, will keep himself alive, but it feels like it's only a matter of time. Flash into the Crescent Strike. That's going to be enough for Rogue Warriors to take themselves the Infernal Soul, and they're going to maybe even look for the base while they're at it.
I'm really happy that Xiaohao goes through the flash at the end and like, okay, screw this. I'm not chasing this one down. He is going to be killed because Rogue Warriors now can threaten more of the base. They are going to secure themselves soul. They could probably get the spot lane turret as we just see them do. Going to be able to get this inhibitor as well. And Yagao isn't going to be up for 26 more seconds, but looks like with the amount of gold they have in their pockets, with health bars, Rogue Warriors not wanting to go for, it wouldn't even be a coin flip, honestly. Rogue Warriors probably would just be running it down if they stayed, so good for them not doing that.
Yeah, honestly, it feels pretty damn good, and it's Forge nearly getting caught out there, and yeah, honestly, I can't really say anything else. Rogue Warriors are just slapping JDG around the place, and I think this kind of comes from the execution that we talked about from JDG's draft, that it just doesn't do a lot very well, and it becomes very difficult to deal with once you have got a full dive comp just jumping on your face as ahead as they are.
I feel like your comp is kind of built for, like, a single target pick comp, right? You have Tahm, Kench, you can devour someone, you have an Orianna shield that comes out, but it's not really built to combat this coordinated dive that Rogue Warriors are able to do, because all of Rogue Warriors members are able to jump on you. It's not only one. The Tahm Kench shield doesn't save anyone, the Orianna shield doesn't do anything, one pillar doesn't really like set anyone apart, so you don't have a way of keeping distance between yourselves and Rogue Warriors, when that's what JDG's comp is really built to do. JDG's comp is meant to keep Rogue Warriors right in front of you, give LPC and Yagao both room to do damage, and you use the other three members to keep them at arm's length. But there's just so many different tools on Rogue Warriors that are able to get on top of you, and JDG just don't have enough to answer.
No, they do not. Now with the Infernal Soul onto Rogue Warriors, they're going to be able to push these in. You can see the mini wave and bot and mid pushing in very, very nicely. ZDZ needs to be a little bit careful. Does have the Harrowed Mist, excuse me, to keep himself safe and away from all the slows, but Zoom is a pretty big troll right now. Has got a lot of damage in his kit. Should he be able to get a couple of auto attacks on? Forge just escorting the rest of those minions in, and oh Jesus, that's a lot of damage there onto Kanavi. As you can see now on the top side, we're going to force the Devour onto Yagao, gets himself spot out, get himself back to safety. LvMao almost taking down, but a Haymaker across. 3-man Shockwave is good, but I don't think it's going to be good enough. Behind the Nexus turrets, behind the base, they are forcing JDG back onto their fountain. The Nexus turrets 1-2 fall. Rogue Warriors will take the first game of this best of 3 and give themselves an advantage coming into the series.
Yes, we need to remember, guys, there's a lot on the line for this one. Bragging rights. That's pretty much it, is, you know, this having no playoffs implications whatsoever. But hey, Rogue Warriors, great game one, completely stomping JDG. Not something I think any of us would have expected earlier this split, or like coming into the split. Now, it's not too surprising. Rogue Warriors have just been on an upward trajectory ever since they brought in Xiaohao and ZDZ, and JDG, I mean, JDG's scoreline actually isn't all too bad if you really look at it, right? They're 7-8. They were 17 and 18 in games coming into this. They just lost to, you know, most of the teams above them and lost to one of the teams below them. So kind of happened where they pan out this way, but man, it's just gotten harder and harder as the split has gone on. We highlighted I'd say the awkwardness of how the draft pans out for JDG. I don't think it's like impossible unplayable, but it's so hard. I think you're relying a lot on like the enemy team to mess up or play a certain way. You're needing to play near perfect, and Rogue Warriors consistently forcing the high tempo were able to find their win conditions. I think especially in that bottom lane, the fact that Betty and Chocho were able to find the 2v2 kill onto LPC and LvMao is massive, and I feel like we saw Chocho with a great game deliver. And then the top side, I think, has been a pretty consistent force for Rogue Warriors. We talked about top jungle coming into this game, but even in recent games, I think Forge has showed up. And heck, I'm the most critical person of Forge, you know, in existence. But you know, Forge, I think this time around, once again, having a really good game on this Viego, just showing how absolutely stupid this champion can be. Get a reset, completely take over a fight, and that's what Forge did on a few occasions.
Yeah, and honestly,